All right, we are fresh back from Indianapolis, Indiana, Caleb. Actually, we were back a couple days ago. We're a little late getting out our reaction recap podcast for the game on Sunday. Titans win 20-16. That, my friends, is our second victory against the Indianapolis Colts in one season. First time we've done that since like we
2002.
were little kids. Yeah.
2002. We were in 6th grade. Was the last time we swept the Colts.
Streak over.
The last time we won in Lucas Oil Stadium, never. So that was a first.
Yeah. I like firsts whenever they come out on the Titans.
We are now currently,
side.
I believe, 1-10 in Lucas Oil Stadium.
We're starting to turn it around. We are turning that record around.
Yes.
Okay. So right on. We won, Caleb.
Yes. We went to the game, in case you weren't aware. We're coming out with a vlog later that documents our journey and we had a good time this time. We went to the game last year. It was not as fun as the game this year. I will say I hate Indianapolis and I hate Lucas Oil Stadium.
Just get that out of the way.
I hate it even more because it was supposed to be inside in the warmth and whoever was in charge of that decision, I don't know who makes the decision to open up the roof, but they left open the roof of Lucas Oil Stadium. I was already sick with a cold. I wasn't prepared, so now I'm even still a little bit sick because I can't get better because of that. Yeah,
I don't know what was up with that. It was cold, and they still decided to leave the roof open, so if you want to have an outdoor stadium, why even build a retractable roof in the first place?
Yeah, and they didn't even tell the officiating crew that they were going to do that. That is cruel. And then during the game, they tried to sell everyone on this like $49 Colts jacket to keep them warm. It was all just an elaborate hoax to get people to buy their merchandise. No one was going for it. So just another reason to hate the Colts.
Man, we love looking for reasons to hate them, and we found some.
So many reasons.
Whether we're right in our reasoning or not. But yes, victory though. Victory time, 20-16. Titans back in first place, no less, after Jacksonville fell to the Cardinals. But we're here to talk about this game. Gotta say, Caleb.
What you gotta say, bro?
I was ready just to boo the team, and I hate fans that boo their own team. But man, it was so ugly. It was so bad in that first half with the offense, the slow start yet again. We should be used to it at this point, really. It's like our 14th ugly win of the season. That's an exaggeration, but
obviously because we only had 7 wins.
Yes, but
you haven't even played 14 games.
You see my point. It was ugly. Do you just want to give our initial quick thoughts and a summary of the game?
Sure.
All right. I'll start briefly. Looking at the stats, it was a pretty evenly matched game as far as the numbers go, and the total yardage, time of possession, first downs, the turnover battle. They did get 2 into our 1, but our 1 turnover, that, I think, was the pinnacle moment of the game.
The one turnover we got.
The one turnover we got. Because we were down, 16-6 at that time. And Jacoby Brissett pitched it to a handless Marlon Mack who drops the ball. And we recovered inside their 5-yard line. It doesn't get much better than that if you want to get your offense going. So we cash it in, and man, after that point, we just dominated the fourth quarter. I think our defense forced them to punt it 3 times. The Titans scored 2 touchdowns, and the running game was non-existent would be underselling it. It was horrible. We could not do anything. And then in the fourth quarter, Derrick Henry starts busting out runs, breaking them, and we're able to churn out the clock, run it down. I really iced the game, especially on that last drive. I don't know what the deal is. What the deal was with that running game? Like what changed? I don't understand.
What?
We'll get to that later. But the biggest thing here for me, let's go to the defense. Playing lights out. And, man, that pass rush showing up. We got 8 sacks, which is way more than I thought we did when the game was going on. So that was nice. That's what? Almost probably half of our entire total leading up to this point. I'm not sure what the exact number was, but the pass rush finally showing up. And, of course, Jacoby Brissett is the most sacked quarterback in the league. Colts pass blocking is not anything special, but still, even when the Titans go up against these poor offensive lines, a lot of the times they don't deliver, take advantage, it feels like. So it's good.
True.
To capitalize finally on a weak pass blocking team and get into Brissett's just all game long. We registered 12 hits on him, so 8 sacks, 12 hits. We had him on the ground running for his life. That was refreshing to see. Special shout out to Daquan Jones. Holy cow, man! Where in the world have you been for the 3 or 4 years you've been on this team? He came into the game with 2.5 career sacks, and he got 2 in one game on Sunday. So. Finally, love being able to shout out Daquan Jones, giving him some praise. Good to see him show up. On the other side, I thought this was interesting. The Colts had 0 sacks and 0 QB hits throughout the game. They did have 5 tackles for loss, so the run blocking, obviously the run game, was a struggle for us. They actually did have 1 sack on Mariota that I do remember, but it was negated by, I think they had a defensive holding penalty. But yeah, I'll stop talking for now and let you go. What do you think?
Well, I don't. There was a lot of. I don't want to discredit anything the Titans have done from this game because yes, it was our first one in Lucas Oil Stadium, first time sweeping the Colts since 2002. You know, winning in Indy since 2007. That's a lot of big accomplishments. Put us back on top. In AFC South, but there was a lot of stuff to be desired from watching this game, especially through the first 3 quarters, which has been a theme of the team so far this season. Is that we cannot play a full game, and even when we win, which we have been doing more times than not, there still looks like there's a lot of stuff to be worked on and to be had and left on the field from mainly the offense. The defense is continuing their streak of playing great. I mean, even we saw it in our 4-game win streak. They played great. I think we saw it through at least 3 quarters of Pittsburgh, which we've already talked about. They just got worn down, blah, 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 turnovers. And then they came out here, played great again. Pass rush finally complemented what the secondary has been doing all along and shut down T.Y. Hilton. So far in the year against us, T.Y. has a total of 3 catches for 34 yards in 2 games against us this year. That's incredible.
Big time.
So we took away the weapons that they had on offense, which is something that we haven't done in the past against this Colts team. If we can only get it back, if we could only take advantage on offense, and get the 2 sides even, then I think we would be a lot better. But this game left a lot to be desired.
We say that after every game, I feel like.
Yeah, we do.
It's just who we are, I guess.
It is.
I mean, it would be nice to be able to figure this thing out on offense and be able to put together a full game so we don't have to... But we always get that one drive at the end of the game whenever we need it the most. Mariota, it was more the running game in this game, was able to sustain a long drive, eating up a lot of clock and getting the touchdown to either seal the game or get us the lead again. And then we were able to sit on the ball in that last drive.
Yeah, we have like 3 good drives a game, 2 of those being the drive normally in the 4th quarter to take the lead with a touchdown, and then the drive to kind of ice the game at the end, which is exactly what we had here. On the drive where we actually took the lead on that DeMarco Murray carry, it was 9 plays. 8 of those plays were running plays, mainly by Derrick Henry. So that's a powerful drive statement right there. I wish that could happen earlier in the game, so we could like build a lead instead of having to take the lead at the end of the game. I would love to have a lead throughout the game, especially against a weak team. But
so what happened then? Can I just jump in and ask you what in the world happened in the 4th quarter to where our running game was suddenly ripping off chunk gains? Like, was it just simply a matter of execution? I know it's been said, the players said Robiskie was firing them up at halftime. I know lots of people would like to see Robiskie fired, but apparently he really laid it into the Titans at halftime, and I don't know, we were still stagnant in the 3rd quarter, but it was the 4th quarter, and we were finally getting production from the running game, and I have no idea what that is. I don't know if we were calling different plays or if we were just executing better. I don't even think it was a matter of us wearing them down because we only had 28 minutes of time of possession. So their defense, it's not like they were on the field for a very long time. So I don't know. Is it just...
I'm going to say spoiler alert for this episode. This is probably going to be the main subject that we talk about.
Yeah.
Here. Once again, the offense and especially the running game. And I don't think you can start with the 4th quarter. I think we need to take it a step back. Okay. I believe at halftime we only had 9 carries for 11 yards, I think. DeMarco Murray only finished the
like
game
that.
with 12 carries for 9 yards with that 0.8 yards per carry.
And his longest
average.
rush was a 12-yarder. So he had negative yards. Mostly through the game.
Oh, so I guess if you want to start with why we succeeded in the fourth quarter, especially on that drive, I think it's because we leaned on Derrick Henry. He was our main back during that drive.
Yeah, he was the better runner in this game.
He was definitely
for sure,
and
he was the hot hand.
You know, this is getting back into the whole DeMarco Murray versus Derrick Henry.
Here come the Henry disciples that are like, Henry should start.
Here's what I think right now. I think
let me hear it.
Based on it's in my notes about the game. And the type of stubborn play calling and schemes we have going into games, I think Derrick Henry is clearly the back that should be starting because he has the ability, and I guess I don't know if DeMarco Murray's injured or just getting old, but Derrick Henry has the skills to improvise if needed. I mean, a lot of those runs on that 9-play drive were runs up the middle where he broke it outside. We've seen that time and time again. DeMarco, for some reason or another, doesn't have that ability at this point in the season, whether it's injury-related or age-related. Derrick Henry is the better back if we're going to stick with this type of play-calling system and structure. So I think that's what happened in the fourth. We finally turned Derrick Henry loose to be the lead back, and we saw what we could get from him.
And he says it a lot himself. He gets better as the game goes along and the more carries he gets. So he might have been right about that. We kept giving him the ball and late in the game, and I think he was finally, getting his rhythm, getting his groove. And bouncing those runs outside. That was clutch. So I don't know, it's almost concerning too because we can't rely on that to work for us every single time. I feel like defenses are going to eventually figure out, like, even if we have the middle plugged up, make sure you stay disciplined, stay on the outside, because Derrick Henry, 99% of the time, is probably going to try to bounce it outside, and they'll be able to prepare for that if that's not working for us. But that's our better runs, is when he does bounce it. And
easier said than done against a great player. And, if he is bouncing it outside, the people that are going to have to make the tackles if the linebackers don't keep the edge are the secondary. I don't think anyone in the NFL who plays in the secondary wants to tackle Derrick Henry, especially in the fourth quarter. If we continue as we are, with the type of play calling and game plans going into games, I am now on the train that I think Derrick Henry should be the lead back.
So you have committed to Henry.
I think DeMarco Murray has better intangibles and brings us a better threat in the receiving game and pass blocking. But I think Derrick Henry will get there. I think we got to give him his chance and get him up to speed real fast. I think he can make up for those mistakes or the little things he doesn't do as well as DeMarco by his ability to run the ball and break it outside and break tackles, which DeMarco Murray just does not have that burst anymore that he used to have.
Even when a hole seemingly is there, it's almost like he's even lost a little bit of vision. It seems like he runs into the back of our blockers a lot, just tries to get 2 yards in a cloud of dust, and that's it.
So if we're going to continue to pound at the middle time and time again, which it doesn't look like we're going to change any type of change the scheme anytime soon, I think Derrick Henry should take over as the lead back. I think he brings this offense. I think he's better for the offense. Yeah,
I think at this point in the season, he's proven that he is the hot hand. He is running the ball better. I did a little bit of research. This was the 4th straight game where Henry has outrushed Murray. In terms of yardage, Murray did have that clutch, crucial game against the Bengals where he scored 3 touchdowns, including the game winner.
See, and that's what he can bring to you.
And I have this in here too. He's still an important part of the team, particularly that play late in the game. I think it was during the touchdown drive. Maybe it was the drive after that when we iced the game. But when it was a 3rd down, called a pass to Murray, and it was that throwback across the field where Murray snuck out of the back. I don't know. I don't even like that play that much anymore. I don't know how it still works because we run it so often.
Normally
it's working still somehow. Yeah.
Normally it's a red zone play.
It was the old Anthony Fasano throwback play.
Yeah.
But Murray can do that. He was in the right spot. It was perfectly executed. He can still do those things for us. I think I agree with you, man. And I know this coaching staff is so stubborn, and I don't think we're going to see that much of a change. I'd be surprised if we did, no matter how much the fans want it. But I think the coaching staff is still going to try to stubbornly stick with Murray, keep running him, and then having Derrick Henry compliment him. Because like you said, I don't think much is we're winning. So I don't think the scheme in the offense is going to change much as bad as we want it.
I feel like everyone can see it except the coaching staff. That something is not the same with DeMarco Murray as it was at the beginning of the year, as it was last season. There's a burst that is not there anymore. And with the type of, I said it, I've already used this term a lot, but stubborn play calling that we're using, especially in the run game, Derrick Henry gives us the best chance to succeed. Mm-hmm. He's the one who has the ability to bounce it outside now, who has the power to get extra yards if he is getting tackled in the backfield, fall forward more than DeMarco does right now in the run game. I still think we can utilize DeMarco great as a third down back in the passing game.
I know a lot of people wanted to see Derrick Henry score that last touchdown to give us the lead because he did all the work and whatnot. But I thought that was a fantastic play call and maybe a way that we can use Murray going forward. Like line him up to put him in the fullback position and just turn around, hand him the ball off real quick. Utilizing him like that. If Murray's running really well, throwing or Henry. I'm getting confused now. Murray, Henry. But yeah, I thought that was a really smart play call. Derrick Henry probably would have pounded it in the end zone anyway, but I thought that was a nice little change of pace that we saw.
It was. I saw a lot of since we didn't have Justin Fowler activated for this game. Yeah. I saw Supernall as the fullback lined up at the fullback position. DeMarco Murray a few times. We still ran some two-back formations with Henry and Murray. So I don't know. Yeah, but I think Henry should be the lead back.
Yeah, I would almost.
At this point,
I think Justin Fowler is a fantastic lead blocker and fullback. I would rather see Justin Fowler activated and playing the fullback position than Supernall being our third tight end and then also playing fullback. But I know we like to run the three tight ends.
Yeah, and fullback's just kind of a dying position in the NFL. You can get kind of the similar production out of a guy like Supernall who can bring more to the field when he's out there, even lined up in that position than Fowler could.
I remember him against the Jaguars. We ran all over them, and Fowler had a big reason for that.
And the Seahawks.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're just losing reasons to use Fowler. But I don't know. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
So yeah, lots of consensus about Henry taking over as the lead back. So we'll see what happens going forward. Maybe the coaches will make a change. Do you want to talk about Mariota? How he did, how he looked?
We can talk about Mariota.
Much of the same. I think he's still throwing the turnovers, throwing the interceptions, but still making brilliant throws. And very, very accurate throws.
He has 5 to 7 just absolutely brilliant, perfectly placed throws a game, and then he has
the head
2 to 3 what quarterback did I just witness throw that pass? Was that me down there on the field? Not being able to read the defense
or even
whatsoever?
Worse, Brock Osweiler.
Oh wow, you're saying I'm better than Brock?
Well, yeah.
Wow. I've never even played quarterback in the NFL, and I'm better than Brock Osweiler. So thank you.
No, you're pretty good. I've seen you play Madden.
Oh yeah, true. I know how to read them defenses.
But I do want to talk about this because we did talk about it a little bit after the game. It's just the offense and the scheme that we're running to for Mariota. And I want to point out that one passing play to Walker that was probably top 5, top 3 throw of his career even, where Walker, y'all know what play I'm talking
about. The one that he dropped it in quadruple coverage.
Yes, there were 3 guys that were on his tail, and then there was a safety just over the top. There might have been a 5th guy too trailing a little bit further back, but my point is the entire, or at least half of the entire Colts defense knew where the ball was going to go, where the play was going, and it's just our sheer skill and the beastliness of our players that were still able to pull off plays like that. That had to have been a perfect throw, and it was. Walker ran a great route. It was beautiful, but I don't know. What if that play wasn't there? I feel like we have a scheme for Mariota to throw it into these tight windows, and a lot of times he's able to do it, like we saw. He did it with Harry Douglas, threw in Harry Douglas into the game plan, of course. Coaches with their love fest for Harry Douglas. It was a perfect throw to Harry Douglas, and he ended up dropping it after a challenge. But just little plays like that, it seems whenever we call pass plays, the offense isn't schemed to get a receiver open. It seems like every time he makes a completion, there's a defender right there on him, and he has to squeeze it in and fit a pass in there, and he has to make an extremely accurate throw. So I don't know if that's just our receivers unable to get separation, or if we just trust our receivers to beat the defense, beat the matchup, and Mariota is required to make amazing throws.
I was going to say that has always been, from last season and this year, a knock on our receivers is that they're not very good at creating separation. I thought Corey Davis would maybe be that receiver, but he hasn't really come out yet. He hasn't had his coming out game. I don't think Decker or Douglas really gets much separation. Delaney doesn't even get that much separation. That dude's just a beast and will catch anything thrown his way and then stiff arm everyone to the ground.
Is that our receivers just not able to do that, or is it just part of the game plan and the play calls? Like you watch the Eagles or the Saints or any of these other high-powered teams, the Steelers, and Big Ben, you'll see him throw a pass down the field, and a receiver is very open. And I feel like it's just because the offense and the scheme and the game plan is designed to where they know that they're going to have something, and they're going to be able to scheme a receiver open if they run this route into this spot, and they're just able to make that happen. But it seems like for us, we can't get that receiver wide open, and we're just forcing throws in there.
I just feel like that's how our play calling in the flow of the game is extremely predictable, especially situational.
Yeah.
You line up against, I haven't lined up against the Steelers on defense personally, but I'm just saying I can imagine lining up against the Steelers, seeing Antonio Brown and Martavis Bryant, Juju Smith, Le'Veon Bell. I have no idea where they're going at any single time in the game. At any moment they could throw it deep, run it, screenplay, it doesn't matter. Titans, I feel like,
they see Delaney Walker going deep. They're like, everyone, that's going to him.
Yeah, exactly. Teams are really starting to catch on how we play call in the situation of the game.
Yeah.
They know that we're probably going to run it most of the time on first and second down, especially if we get a few yards. And then they can predict where we're going to go with the ball when we do pass it. So they're ready for those situations and can cover it accordingly, which doesn't bode well for our receivers getting open, which is asking Marcus to do a whole lot at quarterback when he does have to throw. And this year he has not been handling it very well at all.
Yeah, which isn't all his fault, I don't think. I don't know. I'm obviously a huge Mariota fan, and I'll defend him. I think he's our franchise quarterback, and there's not much that can happen unless he just completely falls off and he's just making horrible decisions one after the other. But he's still making plays, clutch, crucial plays for us every single game to win it at the end. So,
I mean, look at what happens when a quarterback doesn't have a run game to support him. Especially this year, Dak Prescott is a big one that comes to my mind. Last year, everyone was ready to crown Dak Prescott as the next franchise quarterback. I think he is a franchise quarterback, but look at how his play has digressed this year without Ezekiel Elliott, especially since he's been out. I don't think he's thrown a touchdown pass yet and has like 4 or 5 picks.
Yeah,
I mean,
which is a lot. He only threw like, 2 or 3 last year?
Yeah, so. And, Mariota, our running game has not been near up to par as it was last year, and now we see Mariota struggling, but not struggling as bad as Dak is.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He does still have a lot more.
Yeah, he does have more interceptions than touchdown passes, but it puts a lot on the quarterback's shoulder if we're having to rely on him to move the ball pretty much solely, whether he's throwing the ball or passing the ball.
And he has to make those incredibly tight throws because receivers aren't getting separation.
Yeah, so I don't blame him for making a bad read or a bad throw every now and then. Now he has made some really bad throws. But
but it's only like 1, 2, maybe 3 in a game, and it seems like every single time he does make that one bad read or bad throw, it gets picked off. Maybe that's just bad luck or whatever, but it seems like if he does make one bad read, bad throw, it's going to get intercepted for one reason or another. But for every bad throw or bad play he makes, I think he makes 3, 4, 5 great throws, keeping us in the game.
But I also don't think our play calling helps him out at all, period. Yeah. One thing I've had a knock on this team, I think it really came to light against Pittsburgh because I think it's a direct contradiction to how Pittsburgh's coaching staff coaches their players and the talent they have. They try to coach to where they can utilize the maximum potential of their talent. It's almost like we don't even care what players we have. We're going to coach the same way. We're going to run the same plays. Why are we running screen passes to Eric Decker with Corey Davis blocking? I don't know.
It should be the complete opposite.
Yeah. Why do we bring Harry Douglas down to be an edge blocker on a 3rd and long when they're bringing pressure off the edge? That's the play. That's the play we gave up the sack that ended up being negated. But
that's right.
He got blown. Why is he in that situation? Why are we going to him on the 3rd and long that got picked off?
I remember we were using Kendall Wright last year, like in the backfield to block, to pass block against a defensive lineman.
Like
In what world are we living in that's going to work?
We're already asking Mariota to do a lot without a run game, and I don't think the coaches are putting him in a scenario to succeed very well.
They're like, hey, Mariota, your blind side is okay. We got Harry Douglas on your back.
I mean,
no worries back there.
I know Corey Davis and him are still trying to get chemistry, but I want to see a game, and I know he's had a few, where Corey Davis gets 10 targets a game, where we're throwing some fade routes to him. I want to see what he can. He's proven that he can make incredible catches. He had one again on that.
He's made one eye-opening catch like every single game. It's just we can't.
Yeah, it's like we don't know how to use him. It's like, oh, he got that one catch. We're good with that. Let's move back onto throwing some screenplays to Eric Decker and trying to force feed the ball to Harry Douglas because we love him.
We do. Oh boy, why aren't we throwing the screen to Davis, who's a better runner and athlete with the ball than Decker, and have Decker block, who's a better blocker than Corey Davis? I mean, I'm fine with that play call. You're just using the wrong receivers.
Yeah, I'm saying they're not trying to utilize. They're not trying to maximize their potential of the player talent they have.
Yeah,
it's almost like they don't know what they have and they don't know how to use it. And there's always a few head scratching play calls every single game. And there once again that happened again. That happened again with the Colts. I want to see
Taywan Taylor. Where has he been? He went for a deep pass week 2 against the Jaguars. Mariota hit him. He went for a deep, long touchdown pass Monday night against the Colts. Mariota hit him. Have we even thrown him a single pass deep since then? I don't know if we have, but
Mariota tried to hit him in this game.
He can get separation. He's fast.
He tried to hit him on that long pass that was intercepted.
That wasn't a long pass like those other two.
I mean, it was like 15 yards.
And he fell down. But we could talk about the offense for forever, I'm sure.
We could.
Do you have more? Do you have more notes
I have a little bit. I do, because we didn't mention this at all, which I think has been a big point this week. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably seen Terry Robisky's interview earlier this week on Titans Online. And I feel like as the season progresses and as we continually, we got blown out by the Steelers, and then we struggle against the Colts team for 3.5 quarters. More light is being shed or focused on his play calling and how he runs that, how he calls that offense. And I don't think he helped himself at all with that interview.
No, that was very telling.
Basically giving Titans fans what they thought he was doing all along, being stubborn, calling the same play time and time again until it worked. I don't think that's a way to succeed as a play caller in the NFL. Now, I've never been a play caller, but I feel like if the Titans offense doesn't improve this last 5 games, or including, I'll throw the Colts game in there too, that game and then the last 5 games, I think he's pretty much put himself under a magnifying glass on the hot seat to be like, well, he's the easy scapegoat to why this offense hasn't been gotten back to the level it was last year.
I totally agree. If you haven't, go to titansonline.com and find that interview. Because that convinced me that he's the problem with this offense and his play calling. He even admitted that even if plays don't work the first 5, 6, 7 times, if he sees something, he's going to call it again and again and again, waiting for that chance for it to pop. By then, it might be too late. We might be completely out of the game.
We're pretty optimistic Titans fans, and I feel like this season we've been really hesitant to fully lay some of the offensive struggles blame on Terry Robisky's play calling shoulders. But that interview he basically took, if you're going to lay blame somewhere, he's taking it after that interview.
He even admitted Malarkey will chew him out, call him up, and Mariota will let him have it and ask him, why are you calling these plays still? They're not working, blah, blah, blah. And Robiskie was just like, and he'll do that to me, and I just say yes, sir, and I go on with it, and I leave the room and I try to do a better job.
Yeah, it's an eye-opening interview, and I know we heard at halftime of this Colts game that Terry Robiskie went down and chewed out the offense. Especially, I know I think he focused on the offensive line, how they weren't holding their blocks, which he does mention in that interview. He never thinks that the offensive line hasn't been executing up to the level they're capable of, which I agree.
Yeah, and if they're not, and it's not working, don't continue to do it. Yeah, call plays, put them in a better position to be successful if they're just not holding their blocks and they can't hold their blocks.
But for any offensive line, how hard is it going to be if they have 8 people in the box to try and run it up the tackle 7 times in the course of a game? I guess running the same play 7 times over the course of a game with 8 people in the box. How successful is any offensive line going to be with that?
Yeah. Not much.
I could block someone clear on the ground, but I'm saying our offensive line can't. But
sure.
it just put his play calling under a microscope, which I don't think is a good thing for the organization or him if he wanted to keep his job. So if we don't see a big jump in production these last 5 games, and already we haven't in the Colts game, I think that we're going to see a different offensive coordinator calling plays next year.
It'll
once
be interesting.
The offseason rolls around. And that's sad because I feel like we would have squandered the offensive potential this season. Now, I know we have 5 games left, and we can completely turn it around and make me look like an idiot for saying that. But at this point, I think Terry Robiskie put it on himself to it's up to him now to really get this offense back to the level that they're capable of performing at.
Yeah. It's interesting, too. I want to go back a little bit. A lot of people thought that Malarkey, took over the play calling in the second half because they saw him with the play sheets. There's a lot of speculation that Malarkey just had enough of Robiskie, but apparently that wasn't the case. And it was interesting that after the game, the players were like defending Robiskie, saying like, Robiskie really lit a fire under us and was calling us out. And I think that's the opposite of what Titans fans. I mean, we're happy with the result that we won, but I think we were kind of hoping like maybe this will be the final straw that Robiskie will go. But if he did, then I guess good for him, and he finally figured out the play calling and lit a fire under the players' butts. But yeah, it'll be interesting what happens at the end of the season, because Robiskie is one of Malarkey's guys, and I don't know if it's going to be a Mike Munchak situation where he's like, no, if you're going to fire my guy, then I don't want to be here either. Because I like Malarkey. I just think, we could do a better job of the assistant coaches surrounding him. Well, so we'll see what happens.
And I don't mind Robiskie either, and I've seen other teams do this. I just don't, at this point, I don't think he should be the head play caller. I mean, he can still be a coordinator or offensive coordinator or a wide receivers coach or something. Doesn't mean he has to have play calling duties.
Yeah.
We could find someone else to do that. I mean, I know you mentioned Jason Michaels. You might like to see him try out that position.
Yeah, I know he was kind of. I don't know. I've read some articles how he was pretty instrumental in helping Mariota make the transition from college to the pros, and they were pretty tight. And he's a young guy, like I don't know, Sean McVay. Maybe he's a genius.
Yeah,
I'm just to find out who he is.
I'm just starting to get worried that Robiskie and the style of the system of how he calls plays is beginning to hold our quarterbacks back. And I think that's a real thing in the NFL, because you just look at the seasons Jared Goff and Case Keenum are having after they got rid of Jeff Fisher as their main head coach. And you can tell that they're having different seasons this year. So that's a possibility.
I think you're right. Robiskie is definitely. His priority is more interested in running his scheme and his offense that he's familiar with, rather than focusing on developing Mariota. I don't think he's trying to develop Mariota necessarily at all. He's just trying to use him for his system.
He doesn't care what quarterback he has back there. He wants to accomplish what he wants to accomplish.
Yeah.
And he knows Mariota can get that done, but he's not maximizing Mariota's skill set to its full potential.
Yeah, well said.
Overall, though, like I said, we won the game, and we won the Colts game. But I was really hoping after that Pittsburgh game, where we just got embarrassed in prime time, that would be a wake up call to this team. I mean, I think it was a wake up call to me as a fan, and fans everywhere, that we're not really at the level of being a serious playoff Super Bowl contender. And I thought that, we had 10 days to kind of turn it around, prepare for a really weak Colts team. And I know a lot of fans out there, myself included, want to see us take care of business against these weak teams instead of barely scratching by with a win.
The Colts were last in the league in points allowed at 28. We had 6 going into the fourth quarter. They were against the last ranked defense.
30th in passing defense, last in the league in scoring defense. Their offense was even terrible, which our defense played well again. They only allowed 13 points. But.
And you got to remember, Andrew Luck is out. Deshaun Watson is out. Like, these starting quarterbacks that have torn us up in the past. Like, we're struggling to get by with their backup quarterbacks.
Yeah. I was really hoping that Pittsburgh game, would be a wake-up call, and we'd come out in this Indianapolis game and really turn it on and not have to have Robiskie come out and chew the players out at halftime to light a fire. That they'd already have a fire lit under them. After what happened last Thursday. But we came out, and basically I think the only reason we really won this game was because Indianapolis basically out-mediocred us with that. I mean, our one The touchdown that got us back in the game was pretty much all just Marlon Mack fumbling the ball within their own 5. That's just a routine pitch play, and he just dropped the ball, and we happened to make a play to get it, which I'm not taking away anything from our defense on that. I know Kevin Byard's getting all the credit for that fumble recovery. I think Logan Ryan made that play. He's the one who dove in there first and knocked Marlon Mack back, and then Kevin Byard came in with the recovery. I don't think he's getting enough credit.
Logan Ryan has a lot of assists this year. I know he has an assist on one of Byard's interceptions at least.
Yeah.
And I think he deserves an assist for that. You're right.
But watching this game as a whole, I don't think we were the better team. I just think Indianapolis was the worst team. And
that's so sad.
Yeah, it is sad because we're the 3 seed in the AFC right now, and we're only beating the team with the worst defense in the league because they're a bad team.
The AFC, they're all bad.
So
let me throw in real quick. I read off some evenly played stats throughout the course of the game, but there was one big discrepancy in the stat column.
Penalties?
And that's penalties. Ah. You know, dude. We had 2 the whole game, so very nicely done.
Clean game.
We were very well disciplined, and they only went for 15 yards. Take that any day. And Indianapolis had 9, and more than quadruple the amount of penalties. So that was a lot. That was a big help to us in extending some drives, I know. Mariota sack on like a 3rd down, I think. The undisciplinedness of Indianapolis, sucking worse.
Being a bad team. They did enough just to lose the game. If Andrew Luck had been there, honestly, I think they probably would have won back there.
They might have won the Monday night game too.
Yeah, exactly. So if we had played the Steelers again this past Sunday, they would have blown us out again. Mm-hmm. I don't think at this moment this team is ready to contend with the powerhouses in the AFC. And in order for that to happen, I think we have the right personnel in places. I think something else needs to change, and now fans are starting to turn towards looking at the person who put the spotlight on him, Mr. Terry Robiskie.
Yeah.
I mean, defense is already playing great. Everyone loves Dick LeBeau this year. I thought he called another great game.
He did, man. He was dialing up blitzes, and that was huge. There were so many forced quick throws from Brissett, and that went incomplete.
And blitzes from everywhere. Cyprian blitzing, linebackers blitzing. Played a great game. So back to that interview with Robiskie, all he did was put the spotlight on him for the rest of the season. If this team can't get to the level it needs to compete in the playoffs, he just gave us a reason why we can't.
Yeah. That
because of stubborn play calling.
Doing it again and again and again, and it'll work. It'll break through sometime. But I know there's lots of things you can find in this team to criticize, lots of weaknesses to talk about. But guys, let's enjoy this still where we're at right now. Let's not take this for granted and where we were just a couple of years ago and the turnaround this team has made. We're playing very meaningful football for the 2nd year in a row. Really in great position to win the division and even better position to make the playoffs after 10 years of no playoffs. This is awesome. This is great. It's a fun year. Games are exciting. Sure, it'd be nice to have a blowout every now and then, but that's sports for you. It's exciting, and I don't know. I think it's fun. I love it.
Yeah,
I love being in this position.
I have a note here. I know I've been pretty critical of the win, especially that Pittsburgh game is still fresh in my mind, even though it was 14 days ago, or something. But
it's heartbreaking.
At least this team, last year and this past year, is starting to separate itself from the bottom dwellers of the NFL. We're starting to pull away from that last third of the NFL that doesn't. They may, at one point in the season, have a chance to compete for the playoffs, but end up blowing it. Those were the Titans teams of the past. They would have lost games like this.
Yeah.
They would have lost games like the one to the Browns. This team is starting to take a step forward to where we're separating ourselves from that bottom third of the league. Yeah. Now, we're not yet ready to compete with the very upper echelon of the teams in the league. I'm talking about New England and Pittsburgh yet. We still have 5 games to correct that this year, but at least we're pulling away from the bottom, which it's been a while since the Titans could say that.
Yeah, and I know we're not in that tier, but really it's just the Steelers and the Patriots in the AFC. I mean,
the AFC is
looking
really
at
weak.
the AFC,
I mean, we're the 3rd seed.
Yeah, we legitimately might be the 3rd best team in the AFC, which is crazy because it doesn't feel like it with some of these games that we're playing. But yeah, it's great. I'm having a good time.
I hope we
get a home playoff game. That's going to be lit. I don't care who we play.
I don't want my criticism to come off as, I hate this team. I love this team.
Yeah.
And I want to see them succeed, and we are succeeding, so I'm pumped for it.
Yeah.
3rd seed in the AFC right now. What? Could you ask for more? what, 11 games into the year?
No.
I doubt it.
No, not at all. We're still right on track to what people thought we would do this year, I think. But we're just not winning pretty. And the offense isn't exploding. And Mariota doesn't have 40 touchdown passes like we thought. But a win is still a win.
A win is a win. That's correct. Yeah. And looking ahead, I think we have a great chance to make the playoffs, and we have a great chance to keep continually take steps forward on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, there's still a chance for this team to keep improving, even though we haven't seen that much success on offense so far.
Yeah, it's almost good that we don't have it all together at this moment in the season, because if we had it all together like the Eagles with 5 games left, a lot can change. So think about Kansas City coming out beginning of the year going 5-0, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, they're a Super Bowl contender," and now they're looking like they're lost.
Like they
don't know who to start at quarterback.
Yeah. And for the Titans, maybe the feeling around the NFL is, "Oh my gosh, I hope they don't figure it out, because then they will be very hard to beat."
Yeah.
So let's keep our fingers crossed that we figure it out.
I mean, I thought if we had been able to make the playoffs last year, I thought we would have been one of the teams that no one wanted to play. Now we're probably the team that, I hope we get the draw against the Titans at home in the first round of the playoffs, because I bet we can beat that team.
Yeah.
But like I said, we still got 5 games to keep on taking steps forward. 3 of those very winnable. I mean, the next 3 games against teams with losing records, one of those being a division game at home. And then we got the Jags at home last game of the year, which they just dropped the game to Arizona, so they're not past their blunders yet. So we're in a very good position. It's a very good time to be a Titans fan.
Woo! Let's keep it rolling. Big game against Houston. It's a must-win division game. I think if we want to win the division, I would say we've got to win against Houston.
We have to.
Yeah, we could still be a game behind Jacksonville, but the final game of the season would be for the division, because then if we're tied with them at the end of the season, we get the head-to-head tiebreaker.
We do.
It's a lot of just rambling on, man.
That's all I got to say about this game in particular.
Yeah.
You got anything left?
Yeah, we swept the Colts, people. We swept the Colts. Yes, there's lots of things to criticize, but man, it doesn't get better than that. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it has been a long time coming. Can't argue with that. Colts are the most hated franchise in the NFL for me, so I love sweeping them
in the division.
4th place. Suck it, Colts. You're 0-2 against the Titans this year. Mic drop, bro. What you got? You got that mic drop?
Dropped it.
Anyway, stay tuned for our vlog of our adventures to Indy and our episodes coming up where we break down the game against the Texans and the Madden Challenge and all that stuff. And thank you always for watching and the support. We love it. We thank you for the comments. Let us know in the comment section below what you thought of the game, what you thought of our comments on the game.
Truth. And if you'd like to support, as we always love to mention, check out our Patreon. You can donate as little as $1 a month or as much as $1 million a month. Totally up to you. It's totally free for you guys to decide. We're not going to force you to.
We'll take any amount in between two. Just nothing under $1, nothing over $1 million.
Yeah, we don't want that much.
Do you want over $1 million? Yeah. Okay. Good point.
We'll see.
Anyways, tighten up, yo. Keep it real, just like this sign. And
sweatshirt and your hat and your jersey and my hat.
Let's go get this big win against Houston now.
Let's
with apostrophe S.